Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show. And what do? We talk about the week's TV news. We talk about shows that have been announced as in development, new pilots, casted updates, cancellations, renewals, that kind of thing. Maybe the occasional trailer. At the end of the show, we also pick our favourite episode of TV of the week. And honestly, right now, that is actually finally a good conversation.
Yeah,
Because
I actually have to think about it.
now there's a lot of stuff on it. Now, admittedly, our schedule's hectic. More of that at the end of the show and how that'll affect next week. But our schedule's hectic because we have so many shows. So at least that conversation this week will be interesting because
Yeah.
a lot of options. So without further ado, we shall dive into the week's news. A couple of quick things, as always, to kick off. We have the date for the Sensei finale movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, because they cancelled it after season 2. People were upset, but it's got a very small but very passionate fan base. We're not a part of that. I watched one episode. It was okay. I couldn't get into it, but
More than me.
people loved it. And they're getting a finale movie to wrap everything up. That is coming on June 8th. So if you're a fan of Sense8, that's when you're getting your wrap up movie to close it all off. So there you go. Next up, HBO has cancelled the drama series Here and Now. This was the Alan Ball show that was on just before Westworld, I think, for like 8 or 10 weeks, and apparently it didn't do so hot. Reviews weren't that great, and it's been cancelled.
So we passed on that one.
We did. I think we were just busy at the time, and that's why we didn't try it. But,
Yeah, we thought, maybe in a quieter period, but it didn't look super interesting anyway.
No, it wasn't super exciting, and so it was kind of easy to just pass on. And turns out we made probably the right call, since HBO are also making that call now.
Yeah.
And also cancelled. Again, this is one that we don't cover, but I reviewed the pilot of this way back when it started. But Hulu's cancelled The Path after 3 seasons. That's the Aaron and Paul
God, yeah, I remember
show on The Path. So that's been cancelled. It's not coming back. I thought it was worth mentioning. I figured it's just
honestly, I'm shocked it got 3 seasons because I never heard about it after that first season.
I vaguely remember like there had been some like press for season 2, like just interviews with the cast of season 2 was about to come out, but that's about it. But anyway, so those are the quick things. I thought it was worth mentioning. Up next, we have another renewal, or our first renewal rather. But this one's kind of notable because the first season is not even aired yet.
Oh, I know what this is.
Yeah, Amazon have renewed Jack Ryan for season 2, another 8-episode season. For next year, presumably.
Yeah, so, I'm sure this season doesn't even air till like what, August or something.
Yeah,
like that?
August 31st is when the 8 episodes go up for season 1.
Do you know what this is Krasinski, right?
He's in it. He's a star, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. This is there's all that buzz now around him. Quick, lock it down.
They're hiring him to direct movies. We have to make sure he's locked in.
This is it. This is obviously they've got the option in the contract. This is going lock him in before we lose his schedule.
That's a good point. Like, yeah, so they can lock him in to do it, but yeah, they maybe have to delay when they do it if he's already locked in.
But if they do it now and schedule it in before they get the other stuff,
that's a good point. Now he's like a director. Now he's had a big successful movie.
I honestly think that's what it is.
You know what? As the best guess you could possibly have at this moment. Arguably, it's also confident as well, just because.
Because I mean, obviously they wouldn't do that if they didn't think it was going to do well.
So the first season will see up-and-coming CIA analyst Ryan thrust into a dangerous field assignment for the first time. In season 2, Ryan confronts the forces of power in a dangerous declining democratic regime in South America. The season will commence production this summer in Europe, South America, and the US. So yeah, if they wanted to shoot this year, then I guess that's maybe why they did it. It was like, no, let's lock him in now before he agrees to direct some movie in the summer.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I could see it. Then we also had a trailer for a HBO limited series. We'd heard about this a while ago. This is the Amy Adams Sharp Objects limited series. We got a trailer for this. It seems to be like a sort of dark drama with like hints of a thriller in there.
Yeah, they remind me about 3 times. It's from the same person that wrote Gone Girl.
Yeah, they're really hammering that home. To be fair though, I did like the movie.
I did too, but I mean, it's like a 1-minute trailer, and they really told me this.
I agree. What I will say positively about this trailer though is the imagery is often quite nice.
It is. It's got a good tone to it.
It's got a good tone. In particular, there's a shot of like I think it seems to flash between when Amy Adams and her sister were kids and when they're adults, and there's a shot of them when they're like maybe middle school aged, like sort of pre-teens, maybe just early teenagers. They're on I think they're on like roller skates or rollerblades, and it's night time and there's like they're lit from behind with a car and they're just like, they're sort of gliding down the road.
Yeah.
backlit by the car lights. I thought that looked really like kind of creepy and angelic. There was like a nice quality to it.
No, it was definitely some good camera work going on, if nothing else.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to really tell anything else, but from a
It's a very
direct,
brief trailer. I
yeah.
don't really know what to expect from the show, but there's a strong tone. There's some strong camera
Which
work.
honestly, tone and like a sense of atmosphere is kind of what I appreciate most in a trailer, because I'm actually okay not knowing anything about the plot. I just want to be sucked into it a little bit.
That's fair. I think I'd like to know a little bit more than this gives me here,
That's fair.
but it's not the end of the world.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to do like a full trailer. This is a teaser, and then there's like a full trailer later.
Maybe
Maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised to get like a 2 minute, 2.5 minute trailer.
With more of like an emphasis on the plot and like what the setup is.
Yeah, of course the danger is always it's easy to cut together a tone for a trailer, and it's whether that can be sustained over an episode.
Oh, absolutely. But I think this is enough here that I'm kind of fairly certain we'll at least look at the first episode and see how it is.
Yeah, probably.
This is coming in July, and I think this will come after Westworld's done. After pretty much all the other shows we are doing will be finished. I think this will be a nice thing to give a chance to. Just the look of it looked impressive to me, even if I don't really know a whole lot about what's going on in it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So no, Sharp Objects looks pretty interesting, and it's a limited series. And admittedly, they said that about Big Little Lies, which is the same director, and that's getting a season 2. So maybe they'll change their mind. And admittedly, what I'm about to say could also be said for Big Little Lies, but what I will say anyway is that I feel like Amy Adams is a really big movie star, so they might not be able to get her back if they do want to do a season 2.
Yeah, I think Big Little Lies, what's her name, is much more involved in the
Reese
production of that.
Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman, I think.
Yeah, and they're much more involved at the production level.
Yeah,
so...
the producers, yeah. I mean, how many shows has Apple bought from Reese Witherspoon in the last 6 months?
No, about half of their catalogue.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm not sure that's an exaggeration, frankly.
It's weird. But yeah, so that's the thing. And also, I'm saying that maybe people who have read the book will be laughing at me going, they're all dead at the end of the book, so no, there can't be a season 2. Like, in which case, fair enough.
TV finds a way.
But yeah, so no, I think we'll check out the first episode of that at the very least in July. So, and you know what, I'm glad that things we're getting now are saying they're not coming till July, because our May and June are pretty full.
Yeah, no more for those months, please. Yeah. We're done.
And Netflix will give us more stuff in June. We know that for a fact.
They definitely will.
But June's
they might give us
bad.
more in May yet, for all we know.
They might. May will be a disaster if they give us more in May.
Yeah, we're already kind of crunching.
But June's okay, because a few shows will be done with the current Netflix stuff by the end of June, by the end of May, sorry, and we'll be done with a few of the weekly shows. So June's okay. We can handle a couple of Netflix shows in June.
Fine.
What's that?
June's fine.
June's fine. Yeah.
Just no more till June, please, Netflix.
The last week of May is okay, but anything before that, I'll be upset at you, Netflix. I'll be really upset. Anyways, so that's Sharp Objects. And next up, just a quick thing. Starz has decided not to go ahead with Family Crimes, which was the David Ayer crime family show.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that doesn't tell you how... It's called Family Crimes, and I just called it the Crime Family Show. But,
yes, you did.
But yeah, so they were in development. Apparently it was really close to a straight-to-series order, and for whatever reason, they have decided not to do it. So, it's not happening.
Oh well, I don't remember being super excited about that one.
Nor do I.
I mean, it's Ayer, so kind of says it for itself.
I don't really
right?
like most of the movies that I've seen of his, so
I'm hit or miss.
So next up, we got some casting updates for some shows. Underground star Journey Smollett-Bell has been cast as the female lead in HBO's high-profile straight-to-series drama Lovecraft Country. I don't really know who that is, but I just wanted to remind everyone that Lovecraft Country exists because it sounds fantastic. It's produced by Jordan Peele, Bad Robot, that's J.J. Abrams' company. So this is coming. Just to remind you what it is, because it's a great premise. I'm looking forward to this. Lovecraft Country follows Atticus Black as he joins up with his friend Letitia, which is the Smollett-Bell, who I just mentioned, has joined the cast, and his uncle George to embark on a road trip across 1950s Jim Crow America in search of his missing father. Thus begins a struggle to survive and overcome both the racist terrors of white America and the terrifying monsters that could be ripped right out of a Lovecraft paperback. Oh, yes. Everything about this sounds good.
It does. I have nothing negative to say at this stage.
Into all of it. Here's some casting news.
Literally, the most negative thing I say is I don't know who this is, so they could be bad at acting. And I have nothing to back that up.
Oh yeah. I trust them.
I do too. As I'm saying, that's the worst I could potentially say.
Yeah. Now for some casting for a show that we're not as necessarily on board with. That doesn't mean it will be bad, but we're not as eagerly anticipating it. Is The Purge, which they're still saying is USA Network or Sci-Fi. They've still not decided.
Oh yeah, I'll be honest. I forgot this was even going to be a thing.
Yeah, William Baldwin. We got a Baldwin has been cast as a recurring role.
Not your best Baldwin. Let's be honest.
Not your best Baldwin. He's been cast as well as Amanda Warren. Baldwin will play Dawn Raker, a managing partner at Jane, that's played by Warren, investment firm, and her boss. A handsome, confident, and powerful Dawn leads his team with alacrity and intelligence. He appears to be a big Jane supporter, but in fact may be standing in the way of her career advancement. Dawn also harbours a Purge night secret.
Thrilling.
It's a Purge TV show. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
This is the thing though, like a Purge TV show, like how many, like, is it? Like, I feel like you have to do it like 24, and it's like real time, so like all 10 episodes are in the Purge.
Do you know what I do? Screw it, anthology, one Purge night, 10
Per
stories.
Oh yeah, that doesn't sound like they're going to do that though.
They're not, but that's what I'd do, and I think it would be better, frankly.
Because my question becomes like how many, like, do you start with a Purge and then the season takes place over a year, and then you end with a Purge as well? Or
yeah,
is
that really dissatisfying to most people who have come for a Purge show and they only get a little bit?
Or is it like 6 episodes of build up to the Purge and then the rest of the season's the Purge?
The thing is, I think even if they do that, they start with the previous year's Purge and then flash ahead, because there's no way they don't have a Purge in the opening episode, because they need to grab all the casual people.
Do you know what I can see it being? Actually, I can see the 6 episodes of build up. There'll be flashbacks to the previous year's Purge, like as it sort of fills out backstory for everyone, and then we'll build up to the end of episodes like 6 or 7. It'll be, no, that's the Purge for the last 3 episodes.
You know, like his secret, what he did on the last Purge, and the retaliation that he's going to get this Purge.
It's an interesting thing to structure when your premise is that there's 12 hours a year where this thing happens.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I'm intrigued to see if they can pull it off. I'm skeptical, but intrigued.
Yeah. Sticking with some casting news now. This time for a YouTube Red show. It's called Origin. 2 alums from the Harry Potter franchise, Natalia Tina and Tom Felton, have been cast alongside newcomer Sen Metsuji. And the director of the first 2 episodes of this are none other than Paul W.S. Anderson.
Okay, so some serious cred on this one.
From he did, of course, like 4 of the 6 Resident Evil movies. He did Alien vs Predator.
Yep.
So some classics. So he's going to direct the first 2 episodes, and it's coming from the Crown and Outlander producers Left Bank Pictures, which is a weird combination of of shows. So it's created, written, and executive produced by Mika Watkins. And it's worth mentioning as well that just because Paul Anderson's directing the pilot doesn't necessarily mean the show's going to be bad itself.
Kind of means nothing for TV.
Yeah. But yeah, Mika Watkins is the creator and writer. It's a 10-episode series that follows a group of strangers who find themselves stranded on a spacecraft bound for a distant planet. The abandoned passengers must work together for survival, but quickly realise that one of them is far from who they claim to be. And Tina will play Lana, Felton will play Logan, and Mitsuji will play Shun. Then we've got a bit of a description here for who they are. Resilient, tough, and great in a crisis, Lana quickly becomes a kind of captain to the passengers of the Origin, which tells me something bad happens to the actual captain.
Yep.
Shun also quickly emerges as a natural leader amongst the passengers due to his cool head and razor-sharp reflexes. I don't know why I said that weird. Reflexes. Like his Harry Potter character Draco Malfoy, Felton is again playing the group's chief antagonist, as Logan is an angry young man who is as much a threat to himself as he is to those around him.
I feel bad for Felton.
He feels typecast here, doesn't he?
It does. I do feel bad for him because I think he's a pretty good actor, frankly. And
he's okay.
I think he's pretty good. I don't think he's amazing. I'm not saying he's the best. I said he's pretty good, and I feel bad for him that he doesn't get to, flex any other muscles except, hey, I'm a dick.
That's what you'd be typecast as.
Yeah, no, it's just reality. No, I'm not going to lie.
Unfortunately, that show sounds actually kind of interesting to our tastes, so we'll probably have to check it out eventually when it hits.
Yeah.
as much as it pains me to watch a W.S. Anderson produced content of any
Anything,
kind.
yeah.
He bastardized my Resident Evil, that prick. Anyway, so next up, just a quick thing. We could have to talk about it really. Star Wars animated show. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, you wish.
We actually have 3 animated stories back to back. We never have animated stories, but we have 3 of them this week.
Just while we're on the topic of animated shows, Archer came back this week. And I'm so angry I haven't got to watch it yet. Because it came out Wednesday night and we were busy, and then Thursday we were busy, and then now it's Friday and we're busy. I'm like, I just want to bloody sit down and watch Archer for 20 goddamn minutes. I can't.
So Star Wars Resistance is the show that's been announced by Disney. It's the new show by the same guy who did the last 2 series. Dave Filoni. Do you have to say the I at the end?
Yeah, Dave Filoni.
Oh, I thought you just said David Filoni there. I thought, no. Have I been saying it wrong? But fair enough. So he's back. This is his 3rd show. The show follows a young pilot named Kazuto Ziono.
Yeah, I'll let you slide on this one. I ain't got nothing.
Star Wars.
I ain't defending it.
Who was recruited by the Resistance to spy on the increasing threat of the First Order. The time period explored in the series will be uncharted territory as the events occur prior to the 2015 The Force Awakens. So for the animated shows, I assume this is like completely new ground because it's doing pre-Force Awakens. New ground
for most stuff. We've had like 2 novels and a comic series in that time period around because Bloodline set is when the First Order that's when they showed themselves in canon. That was the book, and then we had the Poe Dameron comic, which was directly before Force Awakens. So this seems to be somewhere in between those.
Yeah, I'm sure Connor will enforce any news of this in the future and thoughts on major episodes as he used to do with the Rebels. This is the last time I will probably ever put it in the news myself.
Well, I'm not going to enforce huge, but if there's a huge casting piece, like a really notable thing. I mean, I think it's worth noting you missed out. I don't know. I assume that's all you've got of your story there.
Yeah, Severin.
Yeah, they've got Oscar Isaac and Gwendolyn Christie are coming back in as obviously Poe Dameron and Phasma. Okay. They will be there in some capacity. If
they announce Tommy Wiseau in any capacity,
you'll be there.
I'll put the news in because that's worth talking about.
I think what's interesting is not to you, but to anyone who's been following.
You are not my father.
I would watch that a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
The First Order to tear my planets apart.
What I want is Star Wars movie, any Star Wars movie, pick one, but every role done by Tommy Wiseau. Not just one role, every role. But no. What I would say is it's interesting that this is completely shifting focus, because we got this when they originally announced Rebels. It was a big shift of focus from what Clone Wars was, and we were like, okay, this makes sense because the Disney buyout, and Clone Wars actually got cancelled as part of that transition. But then it ended up picking up a lot of the threads from Clone Wars and and continued that story. Here again, there's no mention of any of those threads that are left over from Rebels, and there are threads, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we get them somewhere in the show, if not immediately. And just the only other thing I have to say about this is coming this fall, and I'm really surprised about that. Because
it's not on the Disney service.
That's for one. Because I think they're doing Disney Channel for the launch and then just shifting it onto XD, which is what they've done with the last. What they did with
but we
Rebels.
kind of assumed that the next one might be this Disney streaming service that they've been
right. And because we've known for a while there was going to be another show because of Filoni got a promotion a while back to head of animation instead of just showrunner.
he's greenlighting his own things.
Right. Basically, it was like, okay, so if he's getting a promotion to the head of the department, there has to be something else coming. But we weren't. I wasn't expecting, because Rebels only ended like a month or two ago. We weren't really expecting it this year. I think we were expecting maybe fall next year on the new service.
Have some time to grieve your old show. That's too soon.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually kind of surprising, which is why it in some ways maybe it will feel like just the next season, the next part of the story, because as much as this is new characters, new time period, if we're going to be dealing with those threads, it might just feel
Yeah.
like the next part of that story.
And I assume the
naturally.
animation style and all that's going to be pretty similar. And
No, actually,
oh no, okay.
because they were drastically different between Clone Wars and Rebels. Because people hated the Rebels one at first, and then were like, hey, this isn't so bad. And then by the end, they were like, quite like it. The same thing will probably happen again because it always does. But this one they've actually said is going to be more anime inspired because of all it's obviously the main character's a pilot and there's going to be a lot of pilot and things. So they want the anime fighter pilot style is what they talked about, which is again a very different look. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
All right, I'm bored about talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, that's
now.
fine. We're done now.
Let's
make you
move
cover
on
it.
to another cartoon. This one came out of nowhere. Netflix have announced that they've ordered a Fast and Furious animated series.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
This is so out of nowhere. It's such a bizarre expansion to a franchise, and I kind of hate that everyone has to be a franchise now.
This is peak franchising, though, isn't it?
I do have to laugh though because the description does kind of read like in the 90s if something got a cartoon on top of it, like if a movie came out, it was a big hit. Oh, there's going to be an animated series on Saturday morning cartoons. This sounds like a description of the cartoon you'd have got in the 90s of something.
Yeah.
So in the series, teenager Tony Terrell follows in the footsteps of his cousin Dom, so it's his little cousin. He and his friends are recruited by a government agency to infiltrate an elite racing league, serving as a front for a nefarious crime organisation bent on world domination. So they're an elite racing team, and they infiltrate a big racing organisation who are actually criminals, and they're trying to take them down. This is so Saturday morning cartoon. I kind of appreciate it in that simple level.
I do, but I wish they weren't trying to pretend, it's this, it's Netflix, there's prestige to it. It's all these episodes. No, it's a Saturday morning cartoon. Just deal with it.
Yeah, behave. So that's the thing that's coming, Fast and the Furious.
Why not, I suppose.
Next up, also an animated series. So this one is not part of a franchise. It is based on something kind of, but yeah. Anyway, so Jessica Biel and Michelle Purple's Iron Ocean Productions is partnering with 44 Blue Productions for an animated series. It's currently titled Going Doll, and it is a series that follows a cast of fame-fueled, self-absorbed caricatures of today's housewife culture as they take over Los Angeles and espouse their beliefs on getting ahead based on their fictional self-help book, Dollface, a modern woman's guide to etiquette, social claiming, celebrity, and monetizing the marriage. Clearly,
I'm not gonna lie, these animated shows got less interesting as we went down.
This sounds like it's clearly going to be a very sort of like aimed at adults, and it's going to be very satirical from the sounds of it. It's inspired by Angie Dolls, which was a series of sketches and felt dolls satirising the lifestyle of Australia's suburban upper class, and it was the whole Australian thing. So
this might be fun for some people. I will literally never check this out.
Fair enough, but it's existing, and I thought it was interesting enough to tell you about. Next up, Netflix has set up a deal with Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
What a name!
Fluffy's obviously a nickname, but still.
I know, but even just going by that.
Yeah, but they've got a couple of comedy specials, stand-up specials, which obviously they do all the time. I don't usually mention them. The interesting part here is that he's also got a multi-camera sitcom with them as well. That's the main news here for us. It's a multicam series called Mr. Iglesias, so it seems like he's keeping at least his real name, or at least part of his real name in the show. Iglesias plays a good-natured public high school teacher who works with his alma mater. He takes on teaching gifted but misfit kids to not only save them from being counselled out by a bully bureaucrat assistant principal, but also to help them unlock their full potential. So I've never heard of this guy. I have no idea if he's any funny, but
if he's any funny,
if he's any funny, sure, why not?
Yeah, well, it's pretty funnier than
Look,
that.
you push recording time tonight to like ridiculous times.
Not intentionally.
The point is though, is that it's now like 5 a.m. and I am.
It is. I'm probably tireder than you are, so screw you.
Yeah, but I'm the one who has to read all this shit. So forgive a few stupid statements.
I will not.
You're the worst.
I know.
Premise sounds fine for a sitcom.
It does. Like I say, I don't know this guy either, so I don't know if the humour will be to my tastes.
But I mean, it could be, could not be. But hey, maybe something worth checking out. They've ordered a 10-episode season, half-hour episodes, as you'd expect. So There you go. So next up, YouTube Red has ordered a pilot for a show called High and Tight. It is a baseball buddy comedy starring Sun Kang, who probably most notably was in like a couple of the Fast and the Furious movies. He was in the third one, the fifth one, the sixth one, I believe.
I've seen one and then half of four.
But people will know. If people have seen the movies, will know who that is probably. And then Danny Pudi, who we like a lot from Community.
I do know who this one is.
Yeah, he's also in the short-lived Powerless, but Community is his big thing that most people know him from. So High and Tight is set in the high-stakes and high-status world of Major League Baseball, and is about a young translator, played by Pudi, forced far beyond his comfort zone when he's hired as the full-time interpreter for slash babysitter to LA's newly signed and ill-behaved star Korean outfielder Ho Rang, played by Kang. His irreverent party and lifestyle throws Joe Barnes. That's Pudi. That's weird that they told me who Pudi was twice. Just put his name in the first bit. It pushes his academic life into complete upheaval. So he's hired as a translator while he's trying to like be studies, and it sounds like he's a complete wild guy, the player, and then he's like trying to like rein him in.
Yeah.
So comedy potential.
Yeah, it sounds kind of generic, but not necessarily bad.
I do like Pudi, and of course, I mean, I can be cynical here and say, oh, okay, so it's going to be about how he needs to loosen up, and he's, you know, the player's going to teach him how to loosen up, but vice versa, he's going to learn to take his life a bit more seriously and be a better player because he's going to take lessons from him. But
ultimately, that's okay in a comedy, as long as it's funny.
As long as it's funny, and I like Danny Pudi, and I've got nothing against the other guy. I think he's fine, but I mean, I don't know what he's like with comedy specifically.
Right, I don't know anything. I've not seen the Fast and Furious movies that he's in.
The ones I saw with him in were fine. I never saw the fifth one, admittedly, but
we have such weird experiences with this franchise, don't we?
Well, we do, because I hated the first one, and I saw like a little bit of the second and despised it. I never saw the third, I never saw the fourth, I never saw the fifth. Everyone loved the fifth. It became this huge franchise after the fifth, and I ended up getting dragged to see 6 and 7, and then Matt wanted to review the 8th, so I guess I saw the 8th as well. And to be fair, all the ones post 5 are just so silly that, okay, they're decent, entertaining.
I saw one and hated it because it's awful.
Yeah, that's the thing. You watch the 8th one, and they're kicking, like, the Rock's like punching like a missile on ice to like.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
Right.
Like, okay, cool.
You go back to the first movie, they're stealing DVD players off the back of a truck.
Right. One is an awful movie, and I want no further part in this franchise. And then, against my will, I got dragged to the 4th one, and I fell asleep halfway through.
I never saw it, but it sounds reasonable.
And then that's it. That's as far as my experience goes. And
then The Rock came in and turned it into a giant franchise where it makes like a, you know, the last two it made like $1 billion.
Yeah, no wonder it's getting an animated show.
yeah, kids, watch this. I mean, I think the first one was R-rated. I could be wrong.
Maybe.
It's definitely not anymore. Definitely now they're all PG-13 because they want the.
They want the dosh.
They want the dosh, yes. Alright, next up, YouTube, back to YouTube Red, has picked up a series. It's an action comedy called Wayne. And I remember talking about this just from the premise. I don't remember having a title, though. I don't remember it being called Wayne. But it's going to star Mark McKenna, who was in Sing Street, and Kira Bravo, who was in Big Time Rush, which I have never heard of, from creator Sean Simmons. It's a 10-episode show. It is coming sometime in 2018. Wayne is described as a gritty and sometimes bloody tale in which 15-year-old Wayne, played by McKenna, sets out on a dirt bike with his new crush, Dell, played by Bravo, to take back the 1978 Pontiac Trans Am that was stolen from his father before he died. It's Wayne and Dell against the world. Because I remember talking about this and going, you know what, if this has the sort of grindhouse tone that it might, based on how silly the plot sounds, it could be fun.
Yeah, I remember that as well. Okay, can YouTube be the ones to pull that off?
I don't know. And Wayne's a pretty shitty title.
It is, especially on YouTube, where how many videos have got Wayne in the title?
It's just weird. I hate when they just take the first name of the character and make that a title. It's so late. Unless they've got a really unique name that sticks out.
Yeah.
You know, like the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Sure, you've got the Vampire Slayer, but Buffy's a weird name. Buffy sticks out. You say Buffy to someone, they think of that show.
No, that's true. But still, I mean, they do now. But before that was before the show started, if they went, oh, it's just called Buffy, you go, okay, it's a name. It tells me nothing.
Yeah, what about Angel? Angel works. The spin-off.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Angel has different connotations, so that works much more.
As a double meaning, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you go obviously think of angels and you think
Right. So even if you don't know the character's called Angel, you go, okay, it's got meaning to it beyond the
yeah,
name.
sure. But anyway, so yeah, but Wayne, Buffy and Angel are not Wayne is the point I'm making here.
Look, I fight you on a lot of things, but even though I like it, I fight you just for the sake of it. But I can't argue on this one.
This is more along the lines of John Carter.
Yeah, sure.
Stupid
I'm
title.
trying to think of any other really bad examples that come to mind recently. But
Michael Clayton, I think that was one with George Clooney.
was it?
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, next up, Netflix has given a series order, to a sci-fi show.
Of course they have.
Yeah, it's something we're going to have to check out. It's called Another Life, and it's going to star Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica.
I remember seeing about this, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of Battlestar Galactica. I like Katie Sackhoff in that show. I think this is cool that she's kind of being the sci-fi version of a Scream Queen, to sort of like be the not the old person in the cast, but certainly, I mean, I assume that
the more experienced.
Yeah, I assume all the other characters will maybe be in their 20s, and she'll be like the one who's in their mid 30s. But so Katie Sackhoff is an astronaut, Nico Breckenridge, as she leads a crew on a mission to explore the genesis of an alien artifact. As she and her young crew investigate, they face unimaginable danger on what might very well be a one-way mission. It is a 10-episode first season order.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm down.
Yeah, we'll be checking this out.
I remember seeing the headline. The reason I forgot about this is because when I saw the headlines, they were really vague at first as to whether this was a show or a movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, 10-episode first season really makes it clear to me that.
Oh no, it does now. But when I was seeing this, at the start of the week, it was a bit wishy-washy.
But oh, pardon me, I did a hiccup there. That's your thing.
That is my thing.
Because Connor has chronic hiccups that he does every so often. No, I mean, it's funny because I feel like sci-fi and horror are the genres where we'll instantly, we'll check that out. Unless it looks terrible, we're going to check that out just based on genre.
Yeah, because we're suckers.
Alright, next up, Amazon's put in development an hour-long drama series called Girl Waits with Gun, based on Amy Stewart's best-selling book, from writers Jennifer Crittenden and Gabrielle Allen. Gabrielle Allen's from Veep, just some cred to go along with her name. The project has got a pilot option, and it comes from Brownstone Productions, which is the company that Elizabeth Banks co-owns. So, Girl Waits with Gun is inspired by the true story of Constance Kopp. That's Kopp, and I'm specifying that because given what I'm about to tell you about her, it's a bit of a coincidence that's her name. Years before women had the right to vote, own property, or even wear pants, she became the first female sheriff in the US in 1914.
I see.
Yeah, hence why.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny? The first time I never noticed that the first time, but because I already knew where this was going and I read the name there, I was like, oh, wait, Cop. That's kind of funny. She became. I'm
glad you specified because at first I didn't realise that it was just, that's a surname, Cop, like that.
Yeah. Kopp is her last name.
Yes.
So the title Girl Waits with Gun comes from the headline of a 1915 news article about the Kopp sisters, Constance, Norma, and Fleurette. Fleurette's a name you don't see a lot. That's a
very unusual.
Not that Norma's used a lot now, but it's still like a normal enough name. Yeah. Same with Constance. It's not used a lot now, but you still see it pop up. Fleurette, though.
You say Constance to me, it's like, okay, sure, that's a name. Fleurette. Nah, you're saying something wrong there.
Yeah, so that's where the title of the show's coming from. I think this sounds like an interesting premise for a show. Like
it's an interesting premise. I don't know if it's going to be necessarily a good show.
It depends what the focus is, but I could see it being captivating. Like, in a time where women aren't even allowed to vote, and all of a sudden the men in the town have to put up with the fact that there's a woman sheriff who's like, I imagine like a lot of like really having to show her strength early on to be like, no, I'm in charge, like I'm the authority here. I can see a lot of good.
I can see it being good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But who knows? We'll see how it shapes up. But it's an interesting premise. I can give them that. Because I feel like when it comes to stuff based on true stories, like I feel like there's a 70% chance I'll think it's not that exciting.
Yeah. You have to actually have done something interesting for us to give a shit.
Well,
that's what you're saying.
It can be good, but good doesn't necessarily mean interesting for a story, perhaps.
Right. That's why I say you have to have done something interesting,
but
not something good.
That sounds interesting and good. So
Yeah.
Hopefully the quality backs it up and whatnot. Alright, next up, Hulu is put in development a TV adaptation of a story called Less Than Zero. It's based on a novel by Bret Easton Ellis, same name of the book. Less Than Zero follows a college freshman returning home for Christmas to spend time with his ex-girlfriend and his friend who struggles with addiction. Less Than Zero presents a look at the culture of the wealthy, decadent youth in Los Angeles. It was previously turned into a movie starring Robert Downey Jr. and James Spader. So it's popped up in the Hollywood before, but this is going to be a Hulu TV show of it. Not something that inherently interests me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound super interesting. Again, not saying it's going to be bad, but it doesn't grab me.
Yeah, I think for our taste, the premise doesn't grab us. It's one of those things where, again, the writing quality and the direction could like put it into the moon, and we'll be, oh man, this is fantastic. But hey, it's a concept.
This is one of those where convince me with a trailer.
I've actually never heard of this. I assume this was like early in the careers of Downey Jr. and James Spader.
I would assume so, because I'm not familiar with it,
Yeah.
even in title by passing.
Yeah, I'm really not that familiar with it. So, but hey, Hulu's working on that. So, a lot of interesting things this week, for better or worse. Some better, some worse. Next up, Crackle, Sony's streaming service, which is free.
That
with
I always
ads.
forget exists.
Yeah, you always forget it exists. They are developing a series, a reimagining of Joseph Conrad's novel Heart of Darkness. The project is set in the future where Earth is a distant memory. It is described as an exploration of what it means to be human on a space odyssey where survival of the human race hangs in the balance, and will explore themes of race, immigration and colonization, much like the book.
I hate that this sounds good because it's on Crackle, so it's probably going to be shite.
Hey, this might be Crackle's like breakout thing. This might be their stamp on the industry.
Maybe, but I'm going to assume otherwise.
Look, we can make great content. Interestingly, Heart of Darkness has been adapted in various forms. It is most famously the inspiration for Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
Hence why the making of documentary that's really famous is called Heart of Darkness. So I think it's an interesting. It's interesting. We're doing a sci-fi.
It's a real interesting take on it.
Yeah, we're doing a sci-fi sort of inspired
Why the
version
hell
of
are
it.
Crackle doing it? Just go sell this to someone who
Do you know what?
can do good things.
I hope this gets like a great showrunner and a great cast, and you just have to like suck it up the entire time until it comes out that it's probably going to be good.
Yeah, no, but this is the worst part. I'll finally go, you know what? Maybe it can be good. Maybe it can, and then it'll drop and it'll just be shite. That'll be way more disappointing.
Okay, let's move on to our final news story of the week. Epix, here's a network we don't talk about much. Epix have given a 10-episode straight-to-series order for a crime drama called Godfather of Harlem, which Forrest Whitaker is in talks to star in. So, you've got a big name there. I like Forrest Whitaker, that's cool. Godfather of Harlem tells the true story of the infamous crime boss Bumpy Johnson, who will be played by Whitaker, who in the early 1960s returned from 10 years in prison to find his neighbourhood he once ruled in shambles. With the streets controlled by the Italian mob, Bumpy must take on the Genovese crime family to regain control. During the brutal battle, he forms an alliance with radical preacher Malcolm X, catching Malcolm's political rise in the crosshairs of social upheaval and a mob war that threatens to tear the city apart.
So, you know how we were just saying, when it's based on a true story, you got to do something interesting. You tell me it's based on a true story, and I'm going, okay. And then it's a mob story.
We're not traditionally fans of mobs, organised crime and gangsters. That tends to, I mean, they can be good, but it's not something that excites us.
No, that actively, goes, okay, put a damper on this. So, I mean, again, there's talent involved, I'm sure.
This is the sort of thing where if it gets like that like high cred, like you're really like big writers and like a really good direction and showrunner to really give it the weight that it deserves. Like this is the sort of thing that could be like this, based in true story kind of Breaking Bad style show. It could be like the possibilities there.
It could, yeah.
Which is why you never write it off. You never, unless there's like an active reason to say no, this will be bad based on a name that's attached to it.
Yeah, which is why I actively did not say that.
Oh, absolutely.
You've really got to convince me. You've really got to work for it on this one.
I think, for people who are a fan of like crime stuff, though, I think this is an interesting premise for them. I feel like this is a little bit different than your usual just fictional crime family,
Sure.
Yeah, there's a bit more to this. So no, that's the news. So that'll take us on to picking our favourite episode of the week. And what do we have this week? And obviously you can find reviews of all this stuff on the channel and our various podcast feeds. We had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we had the premiere of Season 2 of Westworld, we had Timeless, we had The Terror, we had the double premiere of The Handmaid's Tale, we had Legion, we had The Expanse, and we also had various episodes of Lost in Space, and we also looked at the first episode of Season 2 of 3%.
And you had Ash vs Evil Dead as well.
I did as that. Which I won't be picking, but I will mention it was probably the best episode of the season.
No, okay.
So, worth mentioning that.
Honourable mention, I suppose. I mean, let's be honest, even if honourable mention, it's probably not even your third choice.
Hey, a lot of good shows.
There is.
I feel like it comes down... S.H.I.E.L.D. had a good episode, not one of its standout episodes. Westworld, Handmaid's Tale... Maybe Expanse are probably the options.
It's for me. It's between Westworld, Handmaid's Tale, Expanse, and 3%. Those are the top.
That's a fair thing.
Again, like Legion had by far its weakest episode of the season yet.
I think for me, I have to. For me, it's really just between two. It's between Westworld and the first episode of Handmaid's Tale. We got 2 episodes of Handmaid's Tale this week. I think it's the episode 1s. It's season 2 versus season 2. That's what this is. And I feel like they both did different things so well. I feel like Handmaid's Tale was more emotional, and I was invested, and I was like really drawn into the fear of it and the tension. Westworld, I was excited by the puzzle and trying to like decrypt it and the mythology. They both did different things so well. And I feel like I'm really conflicted. I feel like it's neck and neck. I think ultimately it's a battle between my love of science fiction and then my sort of the emotion I felt from the other thing. Because often I will pick emotion over anything else. I think if something makes me emotional, I give that the credit. But I'm finding it difficult to actually just say that by default this time. I'm having to look at both of them and say, which one did I love more? Because I loved them both.
Okay, I've settled. I'm going to go with Westworld.
Right.
Because you say, Handmaid's Tale gives you emotions, right? I came out of Westworld exhilarated.
That's fair.
That's a feeling that only a handful of TV shows give you. And I'm just like, my mind is racing with all the things. This is fantastic.
That's fine. That's fine. Handmaid's Tale's fantastic. Westworld does feel a little bit more like an event.
It does. Like Handmaid's Tale is fantastic TV, don't get me wrong.
But here's the thing, though. I don't know, like, just Westworld compared to itself. Episode 1 was really, really good. But it's not its best episode. Not that Handmaid's Tale's episode 1 is its best episode either, admittedly, but...
I'm a little bit more objective on this because I just rewatched all of season 1 of Westworld. I'd say this episode is easily in the top third or half of the episodes in total.
Oh, that's fair.
So, it's... And the margin for error is not that far off. I think it's just the way Westworld balances its threads is masterful. And that helped, I think.
Well, for variety, I think I'm going to go with Handmaid's Tale.
I thought you might, yeah.
I think that just makes it more interesting to pick different things, but it's really a testament to how much good TV is on right now. Too much for us to keep up with, almost, but...
There is, because Expanse had its best episode yet of the season, and
debatable, you think it's the best episode.
I know, I think that.
I may like episode 2 a little bit more, but all good. We're picking between...
Yeah. 3% came back and was...
strong.
Was pretty damn good.
The last couple of Lost in Spaces have been really enjoyable. It's been...
They've been good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're not quite in the same level as the other things.
Oh, sure, I'm not saying it's in the same level as Handmaid's Tale or Westworld, per se, but...
No, but even then, I think there's a 3% Expanse level, and then I think Lost in Space is below that. Like that's on like the third rung this week.
Okay. How many rungs are there?
4 or 5.
Okay, I'm making no comment. I'm not ranking the entire of all this week's shows, but I will pick Handmaid's Tale as just edging out over Westworld, but it is damn close. If it was Westworld episode 1 versus Handmaid's Tale episode 2, Westworld would have won.
Yeah. That's funny because we talked about this on Handmaid's Tale episode 2. I'm not even sure which of those I prefer outright.
Yeah, no, I definitely say with episode 1, but I mean, like I say, we're arguing about really good things. So, yeah, so
it feels good to actually have a discussion on that, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll have it for a couple of months, and then we'll have none of it for the rest of the year because there'll be no shows on after that, other than binging shows from Netflix and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's our favourites of the week. Here's something important updates as for what's happening next week, because next week there is not going to be a TV news. I know you're shocked and all, and it's upsetting. Now, this is because we have so much TV right now, and because we've actually fallen a little bit behind on the Lost in Space. We actually just did episode 9 earlier today, along with the first 3%. They weren't supposed to overlap, but they kind of are. To give us time to do both of those, we had to not do the movie news this week. And similar, next week we'll not do TV news, and we'll just do movie news. So you're getting one of each this week and next week. And then it'll be back to normal the week after that. The week after that, I'll be back to doing both every week. Apologies if this is disappointing. Obviously, it sucks. Don't worry, any big news from this next week will be carried over into the following week, so that we do talk about the big stuff, anything that's important that we want to give opinions on and whatnot. So,
yeah, I've got there's one particular movie news story I will be making sure you mention. It's just the sort of thing I can see you being a slimy bastard and moving off.
Is it Star Wars related?
It is not.
Okay, alright. I don't know.
It's animation related.
Is it Del Toro related?
It is not.
Okay, I don't know what it is.
Sorry, I don't think it's anything you'll be excited about, which is why you might leave it off.
I already did some of it, so I don't have to do it all again next week. I've already got the big stuff for next week's movie news. I don't have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll make sure you got it. Don't worry.
What's the penny for guests before next week?
No,
anyway,
I'm going to make sure you've got it when we're done here, so you can write it down and go, that's on there.
If I don't write it down, will he notice next week that I don't bring it up? That's the real question. However, because we're not doing a movie news this week, and one of the things we normally do in the movie news is we make some predictions for the big new releases coming out for the domestic weekends, just for fun, we guess. And because there's no movie news this week, at the end of this here right now, we're going to make our guesses for Avengers Infinity War, because it seems weird not to make those guesses for the biggest movie that's come out.
We want to make those guesses, but obviously it needs to be on the record.
Yes, it is. So
we can just say, oh, we did this, but you want to be able to check it and verify it.
So we're going to make those guesses right now and see what we get. So this is technically like a little movie.
This is a preview of what you can expect.
Excerpt from what would have been this week's. So you'll get a supersized movie one next week, and then you'll get a supersized TV plus the regular movie one the following week. So again, this is just this week and next week, one each, and then back to both a week the following week. So yeah, I was going to say Age of Ultron there. Infinity War's box office opening weekend predictions. Easily the biggest potential opening weekend since we've started guessing this on a more or less weekly basis.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite record breaking.
The record for comparison, I believe, is 250. That was Force Awakens, right?
Yeah, maybe 248, something like that.
So it was in that region.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I believe next up was Last Jedi, about 220.
Yeah.
It was lower. It was about 220.
It was lower.
I think it's definitely beaten that.
Do you? Okay.
I do. In fact, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say that it's going to inch up a little bit higher than everyone's expecting, because I feel like these things always do. And I'm going to say it does beat Force Awakens, and I'm going to say it's 255.
Okay.
I'm locking that in, 255 million.
Okay, I'm thinking the 220, 225 range.
All right.
I'll go 225.
So we're agreed it's beating The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I think it has a chance.
All right.
Okay. If it doesn't, I'm not like super surprised. But this is the thing: if it doesn't, I win by a big distance.
That is very true. Of course, we take who's closest once we get the actual final number when we're talking about this next week. But we've made the guesses; they're locked in.
Yeah.
And we can talk about them in the movie news show next week. And like I say, any big TV stuff over the next week will roll forward into the following week's episode, and we'll be back to business. We very rarely miss these outside of the 2 weeks that we always plan off at Christmas. So I don't feel too bad about missing one.
This is the first time we've taken a week off for these in a long time.
Again, not including Christmas.
Not including those. Again, 2 weeks a year that are designated as off limits.
So no. But that is us. So we will see you next week for movie news, and then the week after that again for back to normal TV and movie news.
Plenty of content coming up this week, though.
Oh shit, yeah. We got, obviously we'll have the finale of Lost in Space going up sometime about Monday-ish. And back to 3%, and we'll try and work through a few episodes of that over the week. Of course, we have next Friday, Netflix are hitting us with Season 1 of Rain, which is a new foreign show. It's a sci-fi show that's worth checking out, we feel. Also, Season 2 of Dear White People's hitting next Friday. So, all that stuff.
And it's worth noting, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is this not the series finale of Ash vs Evil Dead this week?
You're right, it is. Season 3 finale, but it's now, because it's been cancelled, it's also the end of the show in general, so that is coming up. Me and Tim will be reviewing that on Sunday, so you can look forward to that. And just to mention, we mentioned Avengers there, and we're mentioning the movie news, it's worth mentioning our review of Avengers Infinity War in 1.21 gigawatts. It looks like for the first time in a while, all 4 members of Mailed Fuzz will be on that review. It'll be both of us plus Matt and Tim.
Yeah, we're doing a full crossover thing.
Yeah, on 1.21 gigawatts. What do you mean crossover? What's that crossover of?
Look, Matt does the movie show. Tim does the horror show. I'm just saying it's a crossover. I'm going with the whole Avengers crossover thing. Just go with it.
Yeah, but everyone's always open to jump on the movie reviews if they want to.
Look, I know, and they know that. I was just playing it up for the Avengers. But the whole, it's the most ambitious crossover ever meme. God damn it. Know your meme.
All 4 of us will be here probably for the review on Sunday, if that sounds exciting. It will likely be a 2-hour plus review of the new Avengers movie. So you can look forward to that. And yeah, so lots of content coming up over the next week, as well as all the next episodes of all the other shows: Timeless, Shield, Terror, Handmaid's Tale, Legion Expands, and of course our Television for the Multiverse podcast, which is all the DC shows, which we do that. We record that late on Sunday. It's up late Sunday, early Monday, if you want to check out our reviews of all this week's DC shows. Not watched any of them yet, but that's Supergirl, Flash, Krypton and Arrow. I was trying to think there what they were.
Yeah, we finished Black Lightning now.
Yeah, that had its season finale last week, so that's done. That was in the last episode, the finale.
Yeah. And Legends is gone for far too long.
It's worth mentioning, if you obviously if you're on the YouTube channel, there's playlists of everything. It's all nice and neat. If you like the audio feeds, I actually recommend, obviously I always plug Patreon at the end, patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, but it's worth going over there just for the first post that actually has links to all of the audio feeds and all of the YouTube playlists for all the main shows that we have. So that is worth checking out just for neatness. And if you also want to support us and throw in $1 a month or whatever, or higher for more bonuses and stuff, that helps out too. So
much appreciated. We've got some arguably fun incentives for when we hit some goals.
Oh yeah, $150. Me and Connor will...
I say fun for you guys, not necessarily
for us. Yeah. We got the Uva Bowl goal, and then the Uva Bowl goal 2.
Yes.
As well as some other stuff. But that is us. That is the TV news for the week. So thank you very much once again for watching or listening. Let us know what you thought in the comments of this week's news. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?